So the topics currently shared by the Hacker Dojo includes the National Mempool Protocol and Task Consensus Protocol, Bootstrap Consensus Protocol, modular chain, and so on. So I'm going to repeat the previous slides because of the network issue. The Hacker Dojo is an open source community for frontier Web3 knowledge contributors and learners built by hackers. Dojo organizes regular open source knowledge sessions via live stream, Twitter posts. The topic includes interpretation of Web3 cutting-edge technology papers, workshops, seminars with crypto tech leaders, and so on. Welcome to discuss and learn in the Hacker Dojo community. And you can join the Hacker Dojo Telegram channel via scanning this QR code. This talk is also sponsored by Fox. Fox is a ZK event-based ZK route for the whole Web3. And Weight Network. Weight Network is a zero-knowledge omni-chain interpretation network, and it's the native technology communication integrated with permissionless computer and storage. And it is a universal solution to enable interchain transactions with trustless and valid delivery. And many thanks to Tsinghua University Blockchain Association, who has given many support to this talk. Something about me, the lecturer. My name is Gary Wang, and I'm a senior year student at Yalcas Tsinghua University. I'm also the co-founder of Weight Network and Fox Tech Foundation. I will share my contact information at the end of this lecture, and please feel free to reach out and discuss with me about topics such as technical problems in DeFi, zero-knowledge proofs, and how to fund a business, and anything related to Web3. So let's begin our lecture. First, let's look at some simple definitions. Firstly, what is interest? Before we talk about interest rate swap. So interest is the amount of money lenders or financial institution receives for lending our money. For example, if I'm going to the bank today and say that I'd like to deposit maybe $100, and for a year, and the bank accountant may say, well, sir, you will receive 2% APR for a deposit. And after a year, you'll receive maybe $2 of interest. And this is called interest when you deposit money or borrow money from the bank or some other institutions or from a neighbor. They may also charge you with some interest. I don't know if that works in the reality. So along with interest, there's always another term that associated with this. That is the interest rate. Interest rate is used to calculate interest, and it's typically expressed in an annual percentage rate APR. So in my previous example that I'm going to deposit some money in the bank, so the APR is like 2%, okay? So it's very basic, it's a very basic definition. And I believe everyone who is familiar with Web3 or familiar with everyday life should know this concept. And after talking about interest, so I'm going to dive into another maybe more complicated definition that is called interest rate swap, IRS. So the definition of interest rate swap on the internet is that it's an agreement between two parties to exchange one stream of interest payment for another over a set period of time. And the swaps are not are derivatives and traded over the counter. So maybe many of us have not really interacted with interest rate swap protocols because it does not happen in everyday life. So let me present you with an example first. So maybe I want to buy 1 million worth of US bond, but I'm not satisfied with its yield. So because the interest rate of the US bond is fluctuating from time to time. This day it may be 2% APR, and the next day it may be 10% APR. I'm a risk-averse person, so I don't like changes. I like constants, such as I would say, well, even if the past data has shown that well, all the data are only in my mind, so they are not the real figures. Don't believe in the figures. Just believe in the concepts that I'm going to tell. So I would rather believe that in the real world, the average yield of the US bond would be like 5%. I would like to trade it at 5% stable yield, stable rate. So even if the past data has shown that maybe the average interest rate will be like 6%, well, I would like to trade it at a discount because I like stability. I don't like changes. And some other institutions, for example, the bank nearby or the bank next to my apartment knows that I would like to trade the US bond, the 1 million US bond, which is not a small number of money. So I would like to trade the 1 million US bond at only 5% of stable rate. So the bank is good at accounting. So it has the full historical data of the US bond performance. So the bank account may reach out to me and says, well, we would like to trade your yield to you in exchange for your bonds yield after a year, year term. So I said, yeah, why not? So after a year, that's what happened. So after a year, the average yield of this US bond would be like maybe 6%. Well, the bank pays me 5% APR. That is 1 million times 5%, which is $50,000, which is $50,000. So because by expiration, I receive. So let us look at the previous. I will receive the interest payment, which is $50,000 because I traded at 5% annual percentage yield. Well, the bank will receive the interest yielded by the US bond, which is basically since the average rate is 6%, so the bank will receive like 60K US dollars. And minus the 50K that it has to pay me, the bank has generated maybe 10K plain interests, and with no cost at all. So because the bank does not have to pay me anything in advance, and maybe only some margin need to be paid, but the capital efficiency is very high in the interest rate swap, which happened in this example. So after introducing the interest rate swap example, so I'm going to introduce you to some real-world DeFi protocols, decentralized finance protocols that actually generates yield. And these protocols are famous. So basically, the first one I'm going to present you with is the Aave protocol. Aave is a decentralized non-custodial liquidity market protocol. And basically, it provides two services. The firstly, users can participate in the activity called supplying. They can also, and the users can also borrow assets from this Aave platform. So two activities, supply and borrow. The suppliers provide liquidity to the Aave market to earn a passive income, and this passive income is expressed as interest. On the other hand, the borrowers are able to borrow at an expense, so they need to pay back some interest after they would like to end the borrow term and end the borrow contract. So again, let me give you a simple example of how the borrowing and supplying on Aave will work. So, for example, there's USDC, Circle US dollar market on Ethereum chain. So maybe one day there will be a total of $50 million of USDC supplied on this market. And the total borrowed assets, total borrowed USDC in this market may be like $30 million. Also, the Aave protocol will introduce another parameter that is crucial to its interest rate calculation. That is called the maximum borrow interest rate, which I define in this example, which is by 5%. Yeah, it's 5%. So it's not a real world figure as well. Just to make this example simplified. And also the protocol will use a linear interest rate model. That is, given the loan to value ratio, which is the total borrowed assets over the total supply assets, which is 30 million over 50 million, the interest rate for each borrower will be the maximum borrower interest times the loan to value ratio, which is 5% times the 30 million over 50 million, and this equals 3%. So each borrower would have like a minus 3% APR, annual percentage rate, when they need to pay back the assets that they have borrowed. So maybe I have borrowed 10 USDC for a year. And after the year's term, if the market stays stable, always stays stable in this state, in an idealized case. So the market always stays stable, right? So it's simplified. And in this case, I will need to like pay back 3 USDC since I have borrowed in total 10 USDC and the rate is 3%. Oh, sorry, 100 USDC and the rate is 3%. So I need to pay back 3 USDC. And again, the interest rate for each supplier will be the interest rate for each borrower times another loan to value ratio. So it would be like 3% times 30 million over 15 million, and that would be like 1.8% annual yield, which is mediocre for each supplier. Well, it is acceptable, right? Not too low, not too high. It's just like the bank do in traditional markets. However, some lending platforms, well, I'm not talking about Aave. So some lending protocols may collect up to 30% of revenue on the borrower's fee, and that means maybe it's 30% less yield for suppliers. So yeah, I would like to express the opinion that maybe the platforms has like charged too high rates for the revenues on this platform. But as long as their customers, their users willing to use the platform, I think that's fine. That's a market's choice power. So in this example, we can see that both the borrowing and the supplying activity would generate interest rates on this DeFi protocol, which is like exemplified by the Aave protocol. So the figure on the left-hand side of this slide is a snapshot of the Binance USD market maybe 2 weeks ago. And you can see that the annual percentage rate, well, or the annual percentage yield is 2.24 at this moment. But as you can see on the following, on the curve line below, it is constantly fluctuating. So it does not stay as a constant. So this is because the loan to value ratio, which is in the BUSD market, is changing from time to time. So it will not remain stable at maybe 0.6, the loan to value ratio. The loan to value ratio determines the borrow rate and the supply rate for the lending protocols, such as Aave. And the second protocol that I'm going to talk about that generates yield on decentralized finance is called Yearn. Yearn represents another type that is called the yielding platforms. So a brief introduction of Yearn is that Yearn Finance is DeFi's premier yield aggregator. So I just copied that from their official doc. So giving individuals, DAOs, and other protocols a way to deposit digital assets and receive yield. And Yearn vaults are capital pools that automatically generate yield based on opportunities present in markets. Vaults benefit users by socializing gas costs automating the yield generation and rebalancing process, and automatically shifting capital as opportunities arise. So you can view Yearn as something similar to a hedge fund or another crypto fund that, however, it is using a smart contract. So the users does not need to understand what the actual investing policy behind this smart contract is. So it's like a passive investing strategy that gives you yield from time to time. Also, this yield rate is changing and fluctuating, and it differs between different markets, which you can see on the left-hand side of this slide. So we have a bunch of markets on Yearn platform. So we have Ethereum market, which has like 3.04 APY, and DAI market, maybe the rate is a little bit higher. USDC, the rate is a little bit lower. So the Yearn basically use such strategies, such as maybe they would like to deposit the platforms into Curve, or deposit into a lending protocol such as the Aave platform that I've introduced previously in this lecture. And since the underlying strategies that Yearn is using and the underlying pools of Yearn strategies are constantly changing, Yearn also present users with a changing interest rate. So before we begin our second part of this lecture, let me summarize some features of these decentralized finance platforms. So basically, this platform accrue interests, such as Aave borrow and supply. So the borrow activity will accrue negative interest because you have to pay back more money. Yet the supply activity will accrue positive interest. Such, for example, if you remember the examples that I've presented previously. So also the Yearn deposit activity will accrue interest since it is an investment. And the second common point of these platforms is that a lot of money unlocked within. So by today, this is today's data on DeFi Llama. On Aave, over $3 billion worth of tokens are locked across different chains. And on Yearn, over $300 million worth of tokens are locked across chains. That's a really lot of money. A lot of liquidity are locked within these platforms. So that means a lot of users that are willing to use these platforms. However, the interest rates of these platforms are not stable, and that's the third feature, and a very important feature that is closely related to the need of interest rate swap on DeFi. So, for example, on Aave market, the interest rate can range from 0.5% to 30%. The annual rate can suffer from very high fluctuation during a period. And for example, on another lending platform that is Venus protocol on Binance Smart Chain, so the BNB market interest rate suddenly soared to like 40% APR maybe last month, and suddenly drops again and plummets to about 0.5. So this fluctuation really happens in the real world, and I don't like such fluctuations to happen because I'm a rate adverse people, and and there are more people like me who are rate averse or would like to pursue stability because they would like to make sure that their profit would stay close to some certain figures rather than they cannot estimate what their annual yield may be. So that calls for the design of interest rate swaps or the design of stable rates in the first place. So Aave has made a first attempt to design a stable rates market. So that is called Aave Stable Rate. As you can see on the left-hand side figure, which is a snapshot of the USDC market. So besides the variable rate, which is 2.39% APR, the Aave provides users with another choice that is called stable rates. So the users can choose borrow assets in the stable rate mode, and the stable rate provides predictability for the borrower. However, it comes at a cost. So as you can see, the stable rate is much higher than the variable rate, even if the variable rate is changing from time to time. As a matter of fact, after I dived into the interest rate model, I've noticed that in all the markets, the stable rate will always be higher than the variable rate. The only merit of the stable rate is that it only fluctuates in a very small range. Yes, it's not completely stable. It still fluctuates as you can see. So it fluctuates in a very small range. Yeah, it fluctuates, not as much as the stable variable rate. So the intuition of this design is that some borrowers may want to like predict how much they have to repay or pay back after the certain period of their borrowing action. So they designed this protocol for these kind of needs. But due to the real-time existence arbitrage, the Aave cannot design a too low stable rate. So only a very high interest rate of loans can be fixed. And we can see the pros and cons of this Aave stable rate design. The pros is that there are indeed more choices for the users to pick. So the users can pick variable rates and the stable rates. And the stable rates means less risk. Yes, it's a good attempt. I would not call it decent because it has several drawbacks, such as the stable rates are too high for users to use. So maybe no users will ever use the stable rate in their whole lifetime, as long as really understand what happens here. And the stable rates are not actually stable, and they may be subject to small fluctuations. And lastly, and most importantly, it is not popular. So after seeing the first attempt by Aave to design stable rates, so I will next introduce another protocol that first successfully creates an interest rate swap market on decentralized finance platforms. So this protocol is called Element Finance. And you can check out their website, Element.Finance. So or search it via Google. Element Finance has devised a mechanism to help fix future interest rates, resulting in a fixed annual percentage rate. So you can see on their main application webpage, you can see for the USDC market, you have the term expiration time, which is next year, February, and you will receive like a fixed APR of 1.36. It's not very high, but it's I'll like to emphasize in advance that it's a real fixed rate, and it's not subject to fluctuations, not like the Aave stable rate, which is not actually stable. So how does Element Finance do this? How are they able to implement such protocol, with stable rates on decentralized finance where everything is changing from time to time? So the design of Element protocol follows the following pattern. The Element protocol at its core works by enabling users via the Ethereum smart contracts to split the base assets of yield-generating positions into separate fungible tokens. The fungible tokens are ERC20 tokens, in other words. So as this figure implies, the Element depositor can deposit 1,000 USDC into Yearn. Yes, alternatively, they can deposit into the Element protocol, and the Element protocol does the deposit action for the user, and the user will not receive the Yearn USDC, which is used to redeem their asset at Yearn platform. They will receive the principal tokens and yield tokens, which is minted by the Aave, by the Element protocol. So each token can only be redeemed after the term, which is 6 months. So the principal token represents the value of the base principal. That is, for the 1,000 principal USDC tokens in this pool, after the 6 months of the pool period, you can redeem the original 1,000 USDC after this term. And the yield tokens represent the variable interest rate gained from the yield generating protocol. So gained from the Yearn USDC deposit. Since the Element Finance does the deposit for you. So for example, the Yearn USDC would have 10% APY, and after a term, these 1,000 yield tokens will in total redeem the yield generated by the underlying Yearn pool after the 6 months. So let me give you an example. So the user deposit 1K USDC into the pool and will get about 10% average annual percentage rate. And this is flow rate, and this is taken by average is 10%. With Element protocol, they will get 1,000 principal tokens and 1,000 yield tokens, as I have previously said. Also, the principal tokens will redeem 1,000 USDC after the term, and the yield tokens will redeem accrued interest over the term. So the accrued interest will be 50 USDC, since the 10% times half a year is 5%, total interest rate, and 5% times the 1,000 is $50. So the 1K yield tokens will redeem the accrued interest, which is $50, as is shown in this figure after 6 months. Cool. And the difference between Element Finance with previous protocols is that when user deposit into the compound, for example, the compound protocol is another lending protocol, which is just like Aave, and acts similarly with Aave. So they will receive CUSDC with token that is redeemable for both deposit as well as the interest earned from deposit. So the compound protocol, in other words, would only mint one token for the user, that is CUSDC, that represents both the interest and the base token that the user deposits. For example, I will deposit 1,000 USDC. I will receive 1,000 CUSDC, and this CUSDC amount would increase over time. And after 6 months, maybe I will get 1,100 CUSDC, and I would then redeem these 1,100 CUSDC for the 1,100 USDC, real USDC token. So that's what the previous protocol do, such as compound. Well, Element protocol instead strips away the interest-bearing assets. So the Element protocol splits this deposit into two different tokens. That is the principal token and yield tokens. And the principal tokens represent the original 1,000 USDC, and the yield token will represent the interest. So with this split of PTs and YTs, we can develop a lot of different market operations. And that's what makes the Element protocol so unique and so powerful in the real world. And I have said a lot of different market operations, and among them, the most important one is the fixed rate market. So with this split, the fixed rate market are made possible. So let me explain. Firstly, the Element protocol have created an automated market maker between the base token and the principal token, that is EPUSDC. Well, it has a relatively longer name, so I just call it PT. It represents PTUSD, EPUSDC. That's enough. So the Element protocol will create the market maker. It will make a market between the base token and the principal token. So some user may trade the principal token for the base tokens because they would like to exit out the base deposit position earlier, so they can deposit their traded USDC into the other protocols if they have found better opportunities. And some users may trade in opposite direction, since the principal tokens will naturally trade at a discount rate because the 1,000 principal tokens will redeem the original 1,000 USDC after a 6-month term. So you have to wait 6 months. That's the price you have to take if you hold the principal tokens. You will not lose the underlying USDC, but the capital efficiency is not as good as the original USDC. So the principal tokens will be traded at a discount. For example, in this figure, you can see that the principal token will be traded at 1 USDC equals 1.1 principal tokens. So buying principal tokens at a discount means a fixed rate. So why buying principal tokens at a discount means a fixed rate? It can be explained via this example. So user A holds 1.1K principal tokens of Yearn USDC and wants instant capital. So it wants to short principal tokens. They want to short principal tokens, and the user B holds 1,000 USDC and wants a fixed rate deposit. Since the automated market maker has a current price of 1 USDC equals 1.1 principal tokens, so it will automatically match the two users, match the user A and user B, which is with each other. So they will make a trade. So user B would receive 1.1K principal tokens at a cost of 1,000 USDC. So since the principal tokens will expire in half a year, so the pro term is half a year. So after half a year, the 1K USDC that user B used to trade the 1.1K principal token can be redeemed for the original USDC after half a year, and that is user B will increase his capital by $100 after half a year. That means 20% annual fixed yield and annual fixed interest rate. So A and B made a trade, and user B will get an equivalent of 10% USDC fixed rate deposit for 6 months. The previous example is the most important thing that is happening on Element Finance, and it's the main functionality of the principal tokens and the yield tokens. But there are more things that can be done with principal tokens and yield tokens, and there are more market forces with them, since they are both ERC20 standard tokens, and they can be transfer just like any other tokens, and maybe we can make a market not only with principal tokens but also with yield tokens. So as is shown in this figure, so with principal tokens you can buy fixed rate income that is covered in the previous example, and you can use the principal tokens for market making because on DeFi we usually use automated market makers. So depositing the liquidity is crucial to this kind of mechanisms such as automated market makers. So if you want to, and you can also accrue some interest by depositing in the AMMs. So if you are going to long the principal tokens, you can buy the fixed rate. You can bearish on the DeFi market interest rates. That is because if you long the principal tokens, you will like swap the original USDC for the principal token. The original USDC, you have some opportunities maybe to deposit the original USDC into other yield generating platforms, but you instead would like to deposit and transfer to the Element protocol, transfer and swap it to the principal tokens. That is because you do not think that the other DeFi market interest rates are high enough that will catch up with the principal tokens. So you're going bearish on the DeFi market interest rates. So in this way, you can long the principal tokens and you would like to buy them. If you're going to short the principal tokens, you may be fall into one of the following categories. Firstly, maybe you are doing the yield token compounding. Yield token compounding is another feature that Element Finance has that I will explain in the next slide. So if you do the yield token compounding, you are shorting the principal tokens. And you can also, so if you long principal tokens, you are going bearish on DeFi market rates. So if you short the principal tokens, you are going bullish on the DeFi market rates, interest rates instead, because they are opposite directions, And the other thing, longing and shorting yield tokens can also happen with the design of Element Finance protocol. For example, with the yield, if you long yield tokens, you are buying the future yield at a discount. For example, maybe you can purchase more yield tokens and redeem them as a whole in the future for the accrued yield. Also, you can stake the yield tokens on AMM as liquidity providers. That is similar to the usage of principal tokens. And also you can use the yield tokens for market making. And if you're going to short the yield tokens, there's one special case that if one principal token plus one yield tokens total like worth is over one. That is one yield token plus one principal token is over one USDC. So in the USDC market, you can sell them immediately and do the arbitrage, since you can receive free USDC by doing so and deposit the USDC you have received into the Element Finance again, while earning some kind of profit, since the total price is over one. And this slide shows an example of leveraging yield token compounding. So yield token compounding is the process of repeatedly selling the principal token to redeposit and gain further exposure to the yield of the underlying pool. So since you are going to sell the principal token, so it's one of the possibilities that will happen. If you're going to short the principal token, you can do this. You can do the yield token compounding. In detail, so for example, you have some collateral position, which is the year Ethereum, and the variable yield rate. You has an estimation of the variable yield rate, which will soar to 20%. So at this stage, maybe it's not 20%, but you have some like perception that it will soar in the future. So you have estimated that the average yield is 20%, and that is the case. So you're perfect market predictor. So in this example, and the principal token discount will be like 10%. So if you are going to sell one principal token of Ethereum, you will receive 0.9 the original Ethereum tokens on the yield market, on the year markets, which is made by the Element protocol. So firstly, at round zero, when you first deposit your 10 Ethereum tokens into Element Finance protocol, you will receive 10 principal tokens and 10 yield tokens, 10 PTs and 10 YTs. So that is basically what Element Finance do. And then what you can do is like when you receive the 10 principal tokens, you can sell them on the automated market maker, on the automated market maker. So you can sell them for 9 Ethereum, original Ethereum tokens, and you can again deposit the 9 Ethereum tokens into the Element protocol, and then you will have in total 19 yield tokens and 9 principal tokens. So that is one round. That is one round of like yield token compounding. So you would like have 1.9 times leverage on the yield tokens, and you will still receive like 9 principal tokens, and you can do this in more than one round. So if you do it in 2 rounds, you will receive 8.1 principal tokens and 27.1 yield tokens. And if you do it in 9 rounds, you will like have 3.87 principal tokens, and you will have 65.13 yield tokens. So that is like over 6 times of leverage on the yield token position. And since you are a good predictor for the future market and you think it's profitable, so you will receive 6 times more revenue by doing this kind of yield token compounding. And there are more actions that can be done and more things about the yield token itself. Firstly, the yield token's price. The yield token's price will represent the market speculated average yield. It is simple to explain. So firstly, people can make a market between the yield tokens and the original base tokens. So the yield tokens will have a price on the market, on the DeFi market. So the yield tokens will be priced at the market speculated average annual percentage yield with an added opportunity discount. Opportunity discount would mean that because you have to like redeem the yield tokens after the Element pool has expired, after the pool term has expired, you can redeem the yield tokens. So you cannot redeem the yield tokens anytime you want. So that is called opportunity discount. So maybe the real speculated average annual percentage yield is 10%, and after the discount, it maybe go to 9%. So the yield tokens will be traded at 0.09 if the pool term is a year. Despite this, it is easy to explain for this kind of like market speculation functionality for the yield tokens. Assuming this is the only factor of the price or value of the yield token, it is naive because the yield tokens will have the following 3 different usages. The first usage is to use it as accumulated value. So the yield tokens will accumulate a base value of principal over time. This is because the Element protocol will deposit the original token into the yield generating pools for you. So the Element protocol does not generate yield by itself. It generates yield by depositing it into the other protocols. Each time the backing yield position compounds its yield, the yield token grows in its intrinsic value. In other words, when the end of the term is near, so you will like have a clearer speculation of the market's average annual percentage yield. So, and the yield tokens will grow in value because the expiration date is near and the discount rate is lower. The third feature and functionality of the yield token is that if the yield position experiences a significant increase or decrease in its offer yield, that significantly deviates from its market expected average value, the yield tokens may see market activity adjusting its price accordingly. So you can see the yield token as an indicator of the market's speculation of the future. And lastly, you can focus on the pricing of the principal tokens alongside the yield tokens, since as I have previously mentioned, if the two different tokens added to a value more than one, so you can sell them. So one principal can sell one yield token and receive more than one Bitcoin, can deposit again and finally and I receive some points. So let me summarize the Element protocol and Element finance with the following pros and cons. The pros of this protocol is that it really creates a real fixed rate market. As you can see on this, let us recap this slide. Yeah, this is us. I have that issues. So the pros and cons of Element Finance is that the biggest merit of Element Finance is that it creates a real fixed rate deposit. So let us recap this previous slide. So with this official automated market maker, so you can trade the base token for the principal token, and by doing so, it is an equivalent of the fixed rate deposit for some term, and the term may be like 6 months in this example. So that is the biggest merit, one of the biggest merits of the finance protocol. And the second pro is that the market making for fixed rate and float rate is enabled. So you can make a market between fixed rate and float rate, and you can trade them directly with each other. However, this fixed rate and float rate does not directly represents like the real market speculation. It is because they have an expiration date, an expiration term. And also the third merits of this protocol is that a variety of market operations are enabled with the splitting of principal tokens and yield tokens. Yes, this merging and yield. However, still drawbacks exist in this protocol, and there's more to be done to interest that at the beginning. This cause we cannot directly swap between flow rate and rates, even with this state. So the principles are not right, and even if we slow down with each other, it's very clear how clear at the market. So what this operation of this swap would represent. So that is the first. It is not a real interest rate swap. It makes it's a real interest rate swap. And this is comparative context because it introduces two new tokens that have managed them by yourself. By some users, by some light user wish to like experience. So maybe they will be confused tokens, but I don't know over all the docs provided by the finance. And the third drawback is the pools have terms. As you can see on this figure. So each pool has an expiration date, and there are only limited choices of this because otherwise the liquidity will be too splitted. So that is a drawback of Element protocol because of this limited amount of terms choices. And the last drawback of Element Finance is that no leverage position of interest rate swap is allowed. So in traditional finance, interest rate swaps always usually comes with leverage positions. This is because you need only to supply a margin to make sure that each party are able to pay back, are able to supply the counterparty with the interest fee in the future. They do not need to really lock up the entire amount of base tokens into some kind of vault to make sure that the other party will not default. So this means that no leverage position means suboptimal capital efficiency, and that is the last drawback I would like to conclude for the Element protocol. So that's all for today's lecture. And what's next is, next lecture is firstly how to trade directly between stable rate and fixed rates. So that is what the meaning of interest rate swap is. And I would like to present you with Thrival and Thrival Finance Protocol and Tempest Finance Protocol, which are two new, more recent protocols on the interest rate swaps. And lastly, I will introduce the leverage positions and perpetual swap on decentralized finance. So these are my contact information. So if you are interested in reaching out, you can contact me via email, Telegram, or WeChat. And please feel free to discuss me everything that you find interesting and related to Web3. Lastly, a few words about the Hacker Dojo bounty and Hacker Dojo community. The Hacker Dojo will release bounties according to community proposals. And please join Hacker Dojo Telegram channel for more information by scanning the QR code below. Yeah, this QR code is Hacker Dojo's Telegram channel, not my personal Telegram. Also, join Hacker Dojo for more tech talks. And this QR code is Hacker Dojo Chinese official group. And you can join Hacker Dojo Telegram via Hacker Dojo 0, this Telegram handle. And the Hacker Dojo email is presented on this slide. And thank you all. This is today's lecture. And I'm Gary Wang. Thank you for listening.